For a brief and uneasy 24-hour stretch at the end of August, Ryan Flournoy's NFL future hung in the balance. The Dallas Cowboys waived the second-year wide receiver, exposing him to the league's waiver wire and leaving his next destination completely out of his control. Had another team claimed him, Flournoy would have been forced to pack his bags and start over elsewhere. There would have been no choice, no negotiation, and no guarantee of opportunity. It was a moment filled with uncertainty for a player still trying to establish himself. There was a lot of anxiety because we certainly drafted him and we wanted him back, head coach Brian Schottenheimer said. We were hoping he would come back. He wanted to be back, which was good. Flournoy vividly remembers a 10-minute conversation with Schottenheimer as the Cowboys worked to finalize their 53-man roster on August 28th. That call would define the direction of his season. It was definitely a shock to me, Flournoy said. I was actually going to celebrate with my wife on making the 53-man roster. Instead, his NFL journey took an unexpected detour. From waivers to the practice squad. During that conversation, Schottenheimer was direct and transparent. He told Flournoy that if he cleared waivers, the Cowboys intended to re-sign him to the practice squad. It was not a guarantee, but it was a lifeline. On August 29th, the Cowboys made headlines by trading Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers in exchange for draft picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. The move dominated NFL discussions. The very next day, a transaction that went almost unnoticed took place. Ryan Flournoy was signed to the Cowboys' 16-man practice squad, quietly rejoining the organization that still believed in him. There were no cameras, no fanfare, and no buzz surrounding the move. Yet, for Flournoy, it marked the beginning of a remarkable turnaround. What appeared to be a setback soon became an opportunity. Remaining with the Cowboys allowed Flournoy to stay in a familiar system, around coaches and teammates who knew his work ethic. Earning his way back onto the roster. Flournoy's first opportunity came quickly. He was elevated from the practice squad to the active roster for the regular season opener against the Philadelphia Eagles, though his role was limited to special teams. Before the Cowboys' Week 2 win over the New York Giants, Flournoy was officially signed to the 53-man roster. He played 11 offensive snaps, a small role but a meaningful step forward. From that point on, his responsibilities steadily increased. Flournoy remained prepared, understanding that opportunities in the NFL often come suddenly. You never have to worry about Flo, Schottenheimer said. He's always ready. He's earned his stripes, per SE. That readiness would soon be tested. Injuries to key players opened the door for Flournoy to take on a much larger role than anyone anticipated just weeks earlier, stepping up when the Cowboys needed him. The Cowboys lost star receiver CeeDee Lamb to a high ankle sprain in Week 3, creating an immediate void in the offense. With Lamb sidelined, others were forced to step into bigger roles. In Week 5 against the New York Jets, Flournoy delivered one of the best performances of his young career. He caught 6 passes for 114 yards, showcasing his ability to stretch the field and move the chains. The following week brought another challenge. Lamb suffered a concussion in the Cowboys' loss to the Detroit Lions, once again leaving the receiving core short-handed. Flournoy responded with an even stronger showing. He hauled in 9 passes for 115 yards and scored a 42-yard touchdown, emerging as a primary target in a difficult game. Those performances were not isolated flashes. They represented a pattern of growth, trust, and reliability that began reshaping Flournoy's role in the offense. Now firmly established, Flournoy has climbed the depth chart to become the Cowboys' number 3 wide receiver, playing behind CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. His production reflects that ascent. Flournoy has recorded 29 catches for 349 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. More impressively, he owns 2 of the Cowboys' league-high 11 100-yard receiving games. Only Lamb, with 5, and Pickens, with 4, have more 100-yard performances for Dallas. Flournoy's inclusion in that group underscores his rapid development. It wasn't just the Jets, Schottenheimer said. He's done it multiple times. The coach emphasized consistency as the defining trait of Flournoy's emergence. I think his star is on the rise, Schottenheimer added. Big, strong, physical, good with the ball in his hands, loves contact. Guys like that. Sign me up. Building trust with Dak Prescott. Flournoy's breakout did not happen by accident. After totaling just 10 catches for 102 yards as a rookie, he committed himself fully to the offseason, making himself available whenever quarterback Dak Prescott wanted to throw. Almost always available, as Flournoy admits. One time, my anniversary. It was July 6th. He went to the field, and I'm in Arizona, Flournoy said with a smile. Missing that session bothered him deeply. As soon as his flight landed, Flournoy texted Prescott and went straight to a local high school field to resume work. Prescott understood. I think 2 years ago he had his honeymoon at the throwing session, Prescott joked. So he deserved to have the anniversary somewhere else. Those throwing sessions proved invaluable. Even without extensive training camp reps together, Prescott developed trust in Flournoy's preparation and consistency. Perseverance through personal loss. Flournoy's journey this season has not been defined solely by football. Like the rest of the Cowboys, he was deeply affected by the death of teammate Marshawn Kneeland. Flournoy and his wife had grown close to Kneeland and his girlfriend, often spending time together off the field. The loss struck on a personal level. In the Cowboys' first game following Kneeland's passing, Flournoy scored a touchdown against the Las Vegas Raiders, a moment filled with emotion and reflection. He believes faith guided him through both his release and the grief of losing a close friend. I knew God had a plan, Flournoy said. He was going to pave the way. If my story wasn't written by him, I'd be lost, Flournoy added, expressing a deep sense of purpose behind his journey. Ryan Flournoy's rise within the Cowboys' offense is not something he views as sudden or accidental. To him, every snap earned is the result of consistent effort long before game days arrived. His mindset has remained unchanged regardless of role or recognition. Opportunity, in his view, only rewards preparation. That belief has guided him through every stage of this season. Flournoy describes himself as someone who values work over comfort. He does not seek shortcuts, favors, or sympathy when circumstances turn against him. Instead, he leans into routine, discipline, and accountability. Showing up early and staying late are habits, not statements. He believes those details separate trust from talent in the NFL. Just keep working every single day, Flournoy said, summarizing his approach. He explained that he never expects anything to be handed to him. Whether on the practice squad or the active roster, his effort never changes. That consistency, he believes, eventually gets noticed. And when it does, he wants to be ready. Even when situations do not break in his favor, Flournoy refuses to lose momentum. He accepts disappointment without letting it define him. Moments like being waived tested his resolve, but did not alter his path. Instead of frustration, he chose focus. That response has become part of his identity. Flournoy also credits faith as a stabilizing force throughout the turbulence of the season. He believes his journey is part of a larger plan, especially during moments of doubt or loss. The release, the uncertainty, and the grief of losing a close teammate all tested him. Through it all, he felt guided rather than abandoned. That perspective kept him grounded. The emotional weight of losing Marshawn Kneeland added another layer to his season. Flournoy carried that pain quietly, channeling it into performance rather than words. Scoring shortly after Kneeland's passing carried deep personal meaning. It was not just a football moment, but a release. One that blended grief, purpose, and gratitude. Inside the building, coaches and teammates see Flournoy as dependable and mentally tough. He prepares as if his name will be called every week, regardless of the depth chart. That reliability has earned him trust from Dak Prescott and the coaching staff. Trust, in this league, often matters more than raw ability. Flournoy now has both. From a player nearly lost on waivers to a key contributor in the Cowboys' offense, Flournoy's story is still unfolding. His numbers reflect growth, but his habits explain it. As his role continues to expand, the foundation remains the same. For Ryan Flournoy, the rise is real, and it is earned.